safe place where healing awaits and troubles are erased. Let's sit and conversate about the struggles you face. I had struggles too, so I can relate. On the road to being great, you're gonna make mistakes. But when your voice is heard, there's a clean slate. Keep the faith, don't hesitate, somebody's here to listen. With every conversation, there's a new beginning. New horizons all rising, better days are near. Share your truth, have no fear, let me lend an ear. Lonely days are gone and you're not alone. Healing begins with being heard, so this is your song.
All the tears, you are here and listening to my life, to my story, my pain. Yeah, I'll be brave, overcoming the struggles in my life, and I'll be the one to show you the way. You will hear my story. Hearts are all the same. You will hear my story. Hearts are all the same. Yeah.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today on Dr. Kyri Listens. I am your host, Dr. Kyri Mosley. Thank you so much. Today is a great day. We will be literally having a great conversation with my guest here, Paul Robinson. Paul is a Chief Warrant Officer 5. And what does that mean? A Chief Warrant Officer 5 is the class that has been designated, given to him by the Marine Corps. Paul, I'm so excited that you're here. First of all, I want to just give you guys an idea of what this means. So I've been studying, like, what does this rank mean and what kind of honor is this been given? It is actually the highest honor possible given for a Chief Warrant Officer. And that means that he has mastered both the technical and tactical sides of the field work. And that's unheard of. You know, for me, I said, Paul, you're a brilliant. And to know that,
thank you for saying that.
It's just true. And you're humble. And I appreciate that. And this particular ranking is honored and given to so few people. There's about 5% of the Marines have this ranking. And I also read that it's actually, you guys are just called unicorns because there's so few of you that can receive this designation.
Yes, I've heard that quite often.
Yes.
The unicorn.
So you are definitely a unicorn, and I'm honored to be your friend and to have you as my big brother. Well, I met Paul a few years back with his wife, Mignon. And Paul and Mignon have been married for 38 years. And so I want to thank you, Mignon, for allowing your husband to be a part of the show today. Paul.
Yes.
Before we start, I want to share my quote. So every show, you guys know, I have a quote. And today's quote is, resilience is forged in fire, proven in combat, and carried with honor. And this morning when I was writing, I just thought, that's what it is. You know, whether we are in the military or even living our lives, it's the resilience is brought about because we've gone through something challenging,
yes,
more than challenging in most cases. And we carry that badge with honor, because I carry my badge of resilience with honor.
And so do I.
Amen. I love that. So Paul, can you please tell me, why did you decide to be on the show today?
Well, Dr. Kyri, as you know, we've talked, but it's a few reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One is that your connection with Mignon has been very inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is I thought that this platform is a platform that can get information out to a number of people,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the conversation that we have. Members may be going through the same thing or
Yes.
have been going through the same issues,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they'll hear something that can help them move forward.
Right. That may resonate with them.
Yes.
Because we all go through different things. And for me, I was really thinking about this transition to go from being, enlisted and active duty and then retiring.
Yes.
And all of us go through, but it's a whole different level when you're in the military because you dedicated 30 years of your life specifically in the Marines. Is that
Yes,
accurate?
That's accurate. Yes. From June 15th, 1983 to May 1st, 2013.
My goodness. My
Yes.
goodness. Well, thank you so much for your service. And I mean that with every part of my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you. So one of the things I want to ask you, you've been married for 38 years.
Yes.
38 years.
Yes.
How has you preserved your marriage while being at battle, being at war? Can you give us some insight?
Well, I think for Mignon and I, we focused on what was most important. And first, it was our connection to take care of each other. After we had our sons, Paul and Jackie, then our focus shifted to them. So to take care of them, to bring them up in environments that would be productive, to give them experiences that they can cherish.
Right.
It kept us focused on those things. And, because it was so much of family, the time just kind of flew by.
Wow.
We almost blinked and it was 30 years, but
no way.
But we like most couples, we had our struggles, financial struggles, difference of opinions on different things, but we always came back to what was most important, and that was our family.
Yes.
She's my rock. She's always been there. And all the times my deployments, my schoolings, every time the Marine Corps took me away from home, she was there.
Yes.
And when I came back home, everything was the way it should be.
Wow.
So I love her for it. I've always applaud her because sometimes her job was tougher than mine. So yeah, 38 years. It seems long, but in my opinion, it's a blink of an eye when you think about a person that you care so much about.
Well, you guys are a tremendous example of resilience in your marriage and your relationship. It's just something that I personally admire, and I love you both. Well,
and we work on it. We work on it. So it's not something that what you see is not, it's we put in the work.
You have to put in the work. That's I'm not oblivious, that it's not all roses all the time. But believe me, this example that you have shown us over the years, and not many of us have the opportunity to be married for almost 40 years. And I'm looking forward to celebrating your 40th anniversary.
Well, we hope that everybody that we know will be somewhere around that they can participate in that, because that'll be exciting.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the transition. One of the things, years back, I had the opportunity to work with the Department of Defense. And I had the honor of training those who were in high-ranking positions, the generals and corporals and the chiefs, and basically trying to help them to transition into civilian life. And it was very challenging. It was one of the things they would always say is, I don't understand why my coworkers, they don't listen. I tell them that to do this and they don't do it. And have you found that to be a transition that was challenging?
Very much, very much. When I retired, when I retired, I didn't go right back to work, but I did take a job as a teacher.
Okay.
And the challenge was I was teaching students that was in the program, military program.
Okay.
So I expected when I said things to them that they respond in the way the Marines respond.
Yes.
But they didn't. And it took me a while to understand that these are students, these are not Marines. I really didn't have a problem with them as much as I did with the professionals that I worked with.
Yes.
Because when I gave them my advice, I expected them to say, well, you're Chief Warrant Officer 5. We know you know this.
Yes.
Let's act on it and do it. And they didn't.
Right,
And I
they
was
didn't.
surprised. I'm like, what's the problem? Why is it taking you so long
to do this?
And these people look at me like, well, first of all, we don't know what your rank is. And we don't care because we teachers.
Yes.
So yeah, that transition was difficult. And I could understand colonels and sometimes generals leaving commands that when they say the word, that's the word.
Yes.
And people followed it. But the experience is what the people knew.
Right.
Unlike you transitioning from the military to a civilian job, these people don't know.
That's correct.
And they look at you as, well, we know you were in the military, but that's about all we know.
And have no idea.
You haven't proven anything to us. So, and we say, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know how much I know?
Yes.
Why are you waiting so long to ask me? And Marines in particular, they really like, hey, I can run this entire company.
Yes.
Just give me a chance.
Just give me a moment and I've got it. Even, as I've grown and getting to know you and just understanding the wealth of knowledge that you have, it's amazing. I mean, that's why I call you brilliant, because you are, and your spirit is so humble. Like and of course people wouldn't know that. No, they would have no idea. Tell us a little bit about the work you did in the military, and then I want to transition into the work that you do today.
So when I first joined the Marines, I joined in the infantry, which was the ground side of the Marine Corps. It took me a while to really get acclimated to that, but that was the choice I had. But I was successful in the schooling, and also I did get promoted. So I had an opportunity to advance to another, what we call MOS, military occupation specialty. So I applied to become a warrant officer.
Yes.
And that was in 1993.
Okay.
And I applied this program is not a first time thing.
Oh, of course.
I know all my contemporaries out there know that you don't always get it on your first time.
Yes.
Most of them do it 2 or 3 times. But I did. I wouldn't say lucky. I was fortunate to be selected in my first application. So I was applying for the NBC job, which is nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare, because I went to school for that. And the board said no.
Did you hear that? Nuclear, biological, chemical.
But Marines know that's like, everything dealing with chemical warfare.
Of course.
And the board said it was closed. So they offered me another opportunity.
Yes.
And I was selected to become a personnel officer.
Okay.
Which was good because it was kind of something I wanted to do anyway. I thought it would be a good transition when I did leave the military.
To go into administration, that kind of thing.
And I did. I was successful. Now, I was the only one in my class, and some of my peers know, that had no experience in administration. Wow. So I was, I learned the hard way, but I did well. But then I started going to the schools. And I went to the basic school, which all of us do. And then I went to the other schools that are required for your rank.
Yes.
But my command time was at different levels and different places. So what it did for me was gave me an understanding of people.
Yes.
In leadership, from down the PFC all the way to the general, because I had to deal with their records. And when you talk about people's pay and retirement, they want to know, do you know your job?
Exactly.
And I really thought I was blessed to have opportunity to do it at different levels. My last command was the highest level, which was the Personnel Administrative Center. So we were responsible for 42,000 Marines records.
Amazing.
And I took the job as, I can do this.
Why?
Nobody, well, I wouldn't say nobody. A lot of my peers didn't want it because it wasn't easy.
Of course.
And you had to deal with a lot of agencies. But I didn't see it that way. and I thought I did well. And I retired.
Of course,
from there.
You did well.
And my when I left, I got a lot of people calling me about, well, you retired too soon. I said, well, that was 30 years.
30 years. And I just heard you say the number. Was it 42,000?
Yeah, it was. So these people were in the reserves. They were on active duty. They were all over the world. They were traveling different places. So we had about 100 and maybe 25 administrators in the building that took care of their records.
Do you know, offhand, how many Marines there are that are active? And
when I was in 2013, we had 100 and I want to say in this 126,000 active Marines, and then the 42,000 reserve and active reserve.
Wow. So about 170,000.
Yes.
170,000 Marines. And the CW5 class, there are only 37 of you in the entire.
Well, during my year from 2010 to 2013.
Wow.
It was 37 of us.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you are a unicorn. What, you're gonna own it?
I guess.
You're embracing it?
Yeah. I guess I have to. But I never thought about it because, like I said, those are the guys that I talked to because we all knew each other.
Right.
And especially the administrative guys that were at the highest level. We constantly met.
Right.
We talked. So we worked together. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you found the most challenging, both in and outside?
Well, the challenges for me during my time in personnel was commanders that wanted things the way they thought it should be.
Right.
And I had to let them know that that's not how the process works.
Right.
Or that's not how the Marine Corps structure is. So if you want to go fly, and I say fly because I was with a flying squadron, you want to go to Italy and stay in an expensive hotel, I can only pay you this much.
Yes.
Now, if you want to do it yourself, it's on you. But they didn't see it that way. They would come back and say, well, why I can't get all my money back?
Right.
So,
because this is the budget.
Yeah.
You speak as though, so I was a former chief compliance officer, and we would have meetings all the time in the boardroom, and my administrators would come in and tell me how they want things done. And I would let them say whatever they want to say, because ultimately it's still my decision. Like, these are the parameters we have. This is what we have to do. And it's got to be done this way. So, there's no gray area when it comes to certain things when you're in administration.
Yeah,
so.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. These guys, a lot of times, wanted to operate in the gray area, and we just couldn't, and we didn't. But we took flack from them. But I've always been kind of, blessed, I would say, with a commander that said, "Hey, when Paul says it, that's what it is.
Yes.
So don't question it."
Yes.
And I did have a few times that, my knowledge was questioned, but I said, hey, listen, I don't guess anything.
Right.
All these manuals you see I have here, I read them. And when you ask me a question, I go to them.
Exactly.
And that's how I can answer your question.
Well, Paul, it's been awesome talking to you. What we're going to do right now, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about.
Okay.
When you think about your leadership and repurposing your skill set, what are some of the current projects that you're working on? When we come back from break, we're going to hear all about it.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I am Dr. Kyri, and this is Dr. Kyri Listens. We'll see you in a moment right after break.
Code Ninjas Junior. We make coding fun through storytelling and game building. Learn coding through play. No reading required. Starts at age 5. Book a free session at codeninjas.com. Welcome to Code Ninjas Create. We make coding fun. Your kids can build awesome video games and achieve master coding skills with the help of dedicated code senseis. Create, play, and learn coding. Book a free session at codeninjas.com. Locations throughout Metro Atlanta.
And let's have a moment of clarity. There's freedom in your transparency. When you speak, you release, that's therapy. It's my decision to listen and do it carefully. Wanna live carefree? Well, it's gonna start. When secrets are kept, families are torn apart. I wanna do my part to help heal your heart. Shed some light on your life when your days are dark. Help ignite a spark that'll bring change. Be your shelter from the rain, assist with.
Yo, here we go. Intro for my show. Nice though, hot like nitro. Cool as ice though. With that type of dichotomy, y'all know it's gotta be. Who else could it be but T? Rub your eyes, behold the Tony D. I'm the Dream Supreme DJ straight out of Queens. I'm the eclectic, the dope is selected. Emerging music break, Tony D will take, yeah.
Well, Tony, I don't care, long as you take me there, someplace to ease my mind.
This is recording artist Bertrand McKinney, aka Birdie, and you're listening to CHH Jams, where the bars come from the word. Y'all keep it locked.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. This is Orlando Presents right here on CHH Jam Presents. Make sure y'all tune in every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and check out our new show, CHH Jam Presents, right here on The Real Level Up. Let's go, y'all. Let's level up, level up. Let's get it. CHH Jam Presents.
Hello, everyone. This is Pat Nash of Pat Nash Talks, where we have the conversations that create real relationships. I'm here every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us right here on Level Up Nation. See you then.
Hello, I'm Benita Hunter, owner and maker of Forever Treasures, where I take your sentimental items, your cherished baby clothes, and I turn them into forever keepsakes. We can use uniforms, wedding gowns, baby clothes, or any other sentimental item of a loved one who may have passed on. Now here's where you come in. Go and find your sentimental items, send them to me. I turn them into a forever keepsake, keeping memories alive. I can be reached at bhforevertreasures.com, or you can call me directly at 443-995-9655. Let's make it happen and keep memories alive.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming right back. Here is my Brenda Forever Keepsake Bear. I love her. You know that she is literally in memory of my Auntie B that I lost a couple of years ago. So Benita, I thank you so much for her. And I'm excited about I'm excited to get back to our questions and to Paul.
All right.
When we left for break, I wanted to find out how you are repurposing the leadership skills that you have and what are some projects you're working on today.
So Dr. Kyri, that's a good question. So for me, I focus on, I consider myself a visionary. And some people have told me that, but I think about that often. But my purpose is my community. So wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I focus on helping the community become better.
Yes.
There's projects you asked about, so I'm involved with a phenomenal group of people, officers,
Yes.
the Military Officers Association, if I can say that.
Oh, you can, of course.
They are very
Okay,
active
say it again.
in every state, but their job and their focus is to help veterans at every level. So a project that we're working on now is to help homeless veterans find permanent homes, not just places temporary.
Right.
We also focus, and I'm excited about helping the high school students that want to pursue military careers, give them information. We also award them during their senior night, awards night, with our Military Officers Association medal.
Wow.
But we do try and support them as much as we can throughout the year.
Yes.
Because I really believe education is important. And at this time in our history, without it, it's a struggle for everyone, not just high schoolers. So that's our focus with my group. But it's tough because everybody wants money to operate, and you know, there's not a lot of money for every organization that wants to do it.
We have a question from the studio audience, so I want to go ahead and read that to you. Jalencia Jones, she says, if you had a chance to do it all from marriage to joining the military, what would you do differently, if anything?
Well, that's a good question, Miss Jones. What I would do differently in my marriage is I think I would focus more on my family earlier in my career than my career.
Okay.
Because when I was a young Marine, that was my priority. And I thought about it in ways of, I'm doing this so that I could have, so my children and my wife could have a better life, or easier life, or a comfortable life. So I sacrifice. But I think not in my hindsight, I think about it, I missed out on some things that I probably should have done.
What are some things that you feel you could have?
Well, I think I could have spent more time just talking to Mignon, not about military stuff.
Okay.
Just talking to my sons, although they always say, Daddy, you know, you did everything for us.
Yes.
But I did the things that I thought was important to me for them.
Right.
Which was sports at the time and involving them in things. So to answer that question, yeah, I would focus more on the details of my family.
Yes.
Because I was out there and I was doing everything.
Yes.
I wanted to be the best at everything. It was in me. It was a part of my nature.
And
the Marine Corps brought it out even more because everything was a competition.
Yes.
So I was ready for it. But I think I missed a few years because I didn't think about them. And that's one thing I think we talked when you asked me about my mother.
Yes.
I didn't think about them when I was in the battle of being a Marine. And I look back and sometimes I kind of say, well, I could have done better or something different.
You brought up your mom. Let's talk about her a little bit.
So my mom was, when I deployed to Afghanistan, my mom, she didn't say much about it. She just said, well, she didn't know, but I didn't know how she took it when I was gone. So it really, when I came back home and talked to my sisters, they really kind of said to me, Mom didn't take you being gone or you being in that country.
In that country, yeah.
Because she didn't know about it, but all she did was she heard about it. And she just said, well, when is he coming home? But I did send my sisters postcards because I didn't talk to them. And my youngest sister said I sent her a postcard and it scared her.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine.
But it was the only thing we had to write.
Right.
So, and it was funny that she said, "Oh, that scared me." It was just men on horses. They were in Afghanistan.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, my mom, I didn't think about it until later on in my life
Mhm.
that how she saw it and how
Mhm.
she saw me being gone, because I was always gone.
Yes.
And then we didn't live in New Orleans, so we were already gone anyway. But
Just having
just
your separate family.
yeah,
Mhm.
being gone, that I don't know, that kind of it didn't. I don't know if it sat right with her.
Mhm.
But to answer the second part of Miss Jones' question on my military career, uh, now that I'm done and I'm
Yes.
older, I don't know if I would have joined the Marine Corps.
Oh my. I don't know that I expected to hear that answer.
I,
Tell me
I
about
am
that.
a proud Marine,
Yes,
and
you are.
and as you know, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yes.
But it was tough.
Mhm.
I mean, the Marine Corps is, people always say, yeah, the Marines are tough, but it is.
It is.
It is. And it's not tough in a way to uh, kind of destroy a person.
Mhm.
It's tough in building you up to be ready for whatever.
That's correct.
And
Mhm.
they do a good job. I'm gonna be honest.
Yes.
They did a good job with me. But I think about some of the places I've been and the things I've done, in which I excelled,
Yes.
but it was tough.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that I would have joined any other service.
Oh,
I
I see.
probably
I
would
didn't
have
take
just
that.
went to college
Right.
and did my college thing.
I believe you would have.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a Marine.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
am.
that's who you are. That's who you will always be. And so I didn't think, oh, I would have went to the Army instead of the Air Force.
No,
No, I didn't. I don't think our audience
no,
thought that way.
I wouldn't have joined the military had I not
Mhm.
been a Marine. The Marine Corps uh, was the only place for me because my
Mhm.
personality, you know, I was an OCD person before I
Okay.
joined the Marine
And you
Corps.
still are.
And when I got there, they said, you're the guy we need.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect match.
Mhm.
I struggled. I admit I struggled at things certain times, but
Mhm.
everybody did.
Everybody did. I
But the
wanted to.
resilience
It's resilience is what it
is what it was. Yeah.
and it's who you are
Yeah.
personified.
Yes.
Okay. Um, Orlando Page has a question for you,
Okay.
and he's asking, with the state of the government right now, would you recommend the military right now as a career?
I would. If I
Mm.
was a young 19-year-old Paul Robinson and the government is the way it is today, I still would. I
Wow.
would recommend.
And so tell me why.
Well, the military, first of all, the military has always been and always will be, I hope, apolitical.
Okay.
So our commander in chief, whoever that person may be, is who we respect and honor to do our job.
Yes.
But in the military, as we all know, we don't obey unlawful orders.
I love that.
So that's
Mhm.
something that for young people today, they have to look at the country.
Mhm.
So the country is what we used to say when I was on active duty. 1% is defending 99% of the country.
That's correct.
These 1%ers are these people that wake up every day
Yep.
and go to work without question
Yes.
and do their job. And in most cases, a lot of them put their lives on the
Mhm.
line every single day.
Every single day. And
And
I
leaving their families
Mhm.
behind is something that is not really talked about, but
Mhm.
deployments are serious.
Mhm.
They're real. So spouses are really a connection that communities need to embrace.
Yes.
When you say, my husband or my wife is deployed, what can we do to
What can
help?
we do? How can
Yeah.
we serve them?
Yeah.
And it really made me think about, just my other brand, which is Kyri's Cookies.
Mhm.
And when in 2009, when my son and I decided to bake cookies for the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, it was understanding abandonment, right? So this 1% of the population is fighting for our freedoms. And I
Right.
remember just talking to him about the sacrifices that were being made. And people always thought I personally was in the military.
Right.
I was not.
Right.
My uncle fought in Vietnam War,
Mm-hmm.
and my eldest sister was in the Navy. But I had gone through a divorce at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling of abandonment really propelled me to think about the soldiers. And I don't know, I just imagined man, they would probably like to be encouraged right
Yes,
now.
yes.
So what can I do to encourage them? And so that's how it began. And when I think about you, the sacrifices that you've made, I am just tremendously grateful for the sacrifices, not that you just made for your family,
Right.
but for us as a whole. And I don't think we all get that sometimes, that it is literally 1% of the population trying to protect the freedoms of the other 99%.
And military people in general, they don't think about it as
Do it.
well, because some people will argue, well, you chose to join the military, and that's correct. But at the same time, the nation has to be defended,
That's correct.
and who's going to do it?
Mhm.
So, people that don't understand the military need to understand, if nothing else, the sacrifices that
Yes.
the families make
Mhm.
and the service member make to defend the nation.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's some levels of deployments that some, service members don't see their dependents for maybe a year and a half,
Mhm.
2 years. Some Navy guys, at some point in time, you spend 7 months on the ship,
Right.
and you don't see your family. You
Mhm.
may talk to them, but those are sacrifices that are real.
Yes, they are.
And I love it when people say thank you for your service, but I got mixed emotions
I get that.
because I think at some point you tell me thank you for your service because you mean it, or
Mhm.
because it's like it's a fad,
Right.
or
And people
it's a-
think it's a nice thing to say.
yeah,
And
nice
I'm
to
like,
say.
no, I genuinely mean that
Yeah.
from my heart. And my life represents my commitment to encouraging people, but specifically encouraging those who have gone abroad and fight here, right? In our fight here locally.
Yes.
It's still sacrifice. And I don't want us to minimize the level of sacrifice, regardless of where the person is stationed. People think, oh, they're in Hawaii, they're having a great time.
Yeah.
No.
In the military, no matter where you are, and even Hawaii, it's a nice place to be if you're vacationing.
Mhm.
But I was in Hawaii with the infantry unit, and it was no vacation.
Mhm.
It was training. But one thing I want to just add, Dr. Kyri, to the conversation is that so military families dedicate some of them like careers to serving,
Yes.
but they also serve in the communities even more.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
for instance, myself, when I retired, I didn't have a connection, so I had to find the connection.
Yes.
I had to make a connection to the people in my neighborhood, to the people in the community,
Yes.
because that's something that is lost in translation with
Mhm.
military members. And I know that it's hard. You leave a Camp Pendleton or a Camp Lejeune where you have a community,
Yes. A family.
and then you go to wherever you retire,
Mhm.
and then there's, maybe one or two military people in your area, and then they really don't connect with you
Right.
because there's no connection. That is a hard transition. I mean, well, when I say hard, I mean
is.
it takes time,
Mhm.
and people that's accustomed to neighbors bringing over
Yes.
cookies
Mhm.
or welcoming you to the neighborhood, and you move to a different place and nobody says anything to you.
Mhm.
That's hard for
That's
military
hard.
people.
What kind of advice can you give those preparing for retirement? What are some things that we can do as a community to combat that?
Well, the one thing I can give to senior officers and enlisted that's retiring is be patient, but do your work,
Mhm.
because you're not going to walk out of the military. Well, some of us do.
Right.
We take off the uniform, we put on a suit, and
Mhm.
we a GS whatever.
Right.
Most of us don't get that opportunity. Because for me, all of my buddies and all of my friends, hey man, when you're ready to retire, let me
Right.
know. I got something for you. And then I retired and they were gone.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, what happened to?
Mhm.
So I think what I would recommend is that be patient, but focus on something that you want to do other than what you've done.
Yes.
See,
Your
my
passion.
thing was I left the military as a personnel officer, and that's the first job I wanted.
Really?
And I couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the ones I did find, I was like, well, I'm way more experienced in this. Because I was put myself in a position that, oh, well, I don't want that. I'm going to get this. And it never happened.
And it never manifested.
Yeah. So I would recommend that they be patient. Maybe look at doing something different. Also, don't equate money with your experience.
Oh my.
Because
yes, that's real.
Because if you do, you won't
right.
have anything.
You'll never feel like you're doing anything.
I was one of those that I'm a CW05. I just left the military after 30 years. Why are you offering me GS7 pay?
Yes.
And I was like, these people don't know me.
They don't know you.
I did have a job for about 2 weeks with a company downtown, and it was about 3,000 employees, and it was so disorganized. I said, listen, I thank you, but I can't take this.
I have a question. Kirkwood says,
yes.
First, he says he's proud of you. And is there anything in your formative years that prepared you for the U.S. Marines?
So Kirk is my friend of, let's see, I'm 61. So Kirk and I have been friends for 52 years.
I love it.
And we stay connected. He and my brother and my cousin, we all grew up together. So he just brought back so many emotions. Can you ask me that question again?
I'm sorry. Okay. Is there anything in your formative years that prepared you for the U.S. Marines?
Oh, well, as Kirk knows, I was an athlete. I was a football player. He told me once I was the best football player he ever played with. And I told him, nah, that's not. But to play sports was some of the attributes I had to prepare me, because I was a leader, but I was like a passive aggressive.
Yes.
I knew what to do, but I didn't always speak up. And the Marine Corps brought that out of me very quick. Yeah. So, but Kurt and I, we came up together, and my brothers. We were all football players every day.
And we were just talking about that. These long-standing friendships that we're blessed to have, friendships of over 50 years. That are real friendships.
We are still. Matter of fact, I talked to him. Well, we talked once a year. He's been telling me I'm coming to visit. I'm coming to visit. I said, well, come when you can.
Oh my goodness, Kirk! I think you've just been put on the spot, and you need to make that happen.
And we still live in the same place, by the way, Kurt. So.
I love it. So at this time of the show, you get a chance to ask me a question. If there's anything you want to ask me, I will answer it.
So my question to you, Dr. Kyri, is what is the reasoning for you continuing to do things like this for the community? Why you feel so passionate about helping communities in different ways, whether it's your cookies or the podcast or whatever? Why you feel so passionate about that?
I honestly think it just goes back to who I was made to be. And, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in the projects. And my best friend, we make a little joke about it, but he says you wouldn't normally have people lined up to talk to you because they're going to get advice and get guidance. But I'm a child. I'm literally a child. But that has always been my temperament. My desire is to listen to people and to figure out if I can redirect a behavior that is not beneficial. Because growing in the projects, we're doing reckless stuff. So I'm like, actually, you could probably do this instead. And, so I think it's just part of my genetic makeup is to care and to give other people a voice. I have always been that person to defend people when there were bullies around, because I do not like bullies. And so most of my fights, I would fight, and I love to box and all of that. But I would fight for someone else, not necessarily because I had a problem or someone had a problem with me. I've always been a very calm temperament until I needed to defend someone else
Right.
or defend someone's rights, whether it was students or patients' rights. That is just who I am. I love
Well, that is something that is admirable. I think we need more people with your spirit.
Thank you.
And I believe we do have those people.
I do.
We just don't always connect with them.
Mhm.
But I think if we didn't have people with that type of spirit that you have, you know, I don't know, we would. This nation may be
Very different.
Yeah.
Or if they didn't have people like you who are willing to stand in the gap and be resilient during those difficult times and that we're unaware of, you know, we're in our bed sleeping and you're not, you know. So I am truly, truly grateful. I don't know how we are doing on time, but I literally once let people know how they can get in touch with you. I know that you have LinkedIn, your professional page.
Yes.
And so people, if you want to reach out to Paul, if you have anything with regards to resources that could help us help those veterans who are homeless, which should never be.
No.
Should never be. Help them to get housing, permanent housing. Please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or to Paul, and I will pass your information on. So this morning, I was thinking about you, brother.
All right.
Yeah, I was excited, and I decided that I wanted to write a poem for you
Okay.
and to you. So here we go, guys. Okay. To my brother, to Chief Warrant Officer 5, Paul Robinson. Though the uniforms are now folded, pressed and stored away with care, the spirit of the corps still lives in everything you dare. Years of honor, duty, courage, they don't fade with time. They only deepen like the roots of wisdom in their prime. Some say you've left the service, but those who truly know understand a Marine's commitment doesn't ever go. You've just changed posts from front lines to life's civilian sphere, where your leadership and strength still shine crystal clear. The stories etched in memory, the brothers that you knew, the pride of being first to fight still burns in all you do. For once you've earned those eagle, globe, and anchor as your own, they're carved upon your heart, a truth that's carved in stone. So stand proud, retired warrior. Your watch has changed, not ceased. Your legacy lives on in those whose burdens you've released. For former Marine, a phrase that never truly right. Once a Marine, always a Marine, still faithful to the fight. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. I love you. I'm grateful to have you in my life. And I wish you continued success in all that you do. And thank you for your time today with us.
Well, wow. I was, you know, I didn't know I was going to be emotional.
All right.
That was beautiful,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Kyri. I don't know if you studied the Marine Corps and the history, but that everything you said in there it resonate with all of us. Young, old, retired, active, reserve, whatever. That really touched me.
Thank
And
you.
I know if they heard it, and all our service members, not just the Marine
Right.
Corps, that resonate. So
Thank you.
I thank you for that, my sister.
You're so welcome.
This has been a joy for
Thank you.
me. I hope that we reach people
Mhm.
in areas and ways that is positive.
Mhm.
I'm going to continue my fight and
Yes.
my perseverance
Mhm.
to make change for young people,
Mhm.
especially, and the servicemen and women that need us
Thank you.
around the world,
Mhm.
because I think that, for all that I was blessed to have, I feel like it's an obligation for me to pay it forward.
That's what we do.
And that's what I want to continue to do.
Thank you.
So this was fun.
Thank you. Guys, this has been awesome. If you are interested in any kind of coaching or counseling, or you want to be a guest on my show, please reach out to my team. Our number is 678-597-8191. This is Dr. Kyri Mosley, and I am seeing you.
Make the beat slap. He send over the track so I can speak facts. Opposition pushing up, they need to ease back. You ain't talking about the gospel, you can keep that. Believe that. My heart is where the streets at. Over beats to his pieces where I preach at. 1 million souls, I'm trying to reach that. I grab the microphone and then I react. Never sold my soul's intact. Trying to change your brain, mental impact. Not of this world, Satan been whacked. The devil is a lie, dude been capped. I let my light shine, the world been black. Taking back the music, dude getting jacked. Hooked on the Lord, my spirit on crack. Gotta move forward, ain't no turning back. Microphone check, talking one tip. You know how we do when we come through. I represent the Father and the Son too. Roll with the Holy Ghost, what you won't do. You ain't rocking with God, then you gotta. You ain't rolling with the Lord, then you gotta. On demon time, then you gotta. You ain't a friend of mine, so you gotta. Sometimes I ask myself, what are people doing? What God did they serve and who are they pursuing? Instead of righteousness, they chose the path to ruin. You wanna see the Father, here's the way to him. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We couldn't pay the debt, he had to pay the price. Gave his life in sacrifice just to make it right. The burden was heavy, he couldn't take it light. The battle's not ours, he had to take the fight. Showed up in the scene, demons were taking flight. Don't believe in the Father, then you can take a hike. Prayer changes things, what you praying like? If he gave a mic to help save a life. Telling non-believers about the way of Christ. His mercy and grace will always suffice. Represent the winning team all day and night. Microphone check, talking one tip. You know how we do when we come through. I represent the Father and the Son too. Roll with the Holy Ghost, what you won't do. You ain't rocking with God, then you gotta. You ain't rolling with the Lord, then you gotta. On demon time, then you gotta. You ain't a friend of mine, so you gotta. Microphone check, talking one tip. You know how we do when we come through. I represent the Father and the Son too. Roll with the Holy Ghost, what you won't do. You ain't rocking with God, then you gotta. You ain't rolling with the Lord, then you gotta. On demon time, then you gotta. You ain't a friend of mine, so you gotta. Have a moment of clarity. There's freedom in your transparency. When you speak, you release, that's therapy. It's my decision to listen and do it carefully. Wanna live carefree? Well, it's gonna start. When secrets are kept, families are torn apart. I wanna do my part to help heal your heart. Shed some light on your life when your days are dark. Help ignite a spark that'll bring change. Be your shelter from the rain, assist with the pain. Lonely days are gone and you're not alone. Healing begins with being heard, so this is your song.
All the tears you are hearing, listening to my life, to my story, my pain. Yeah, be brave, overcoming the struggles in my life, and I'll be the one to show you the way. You will hear my story. Hearts are all the same. Hearts are all the same.
wrong to promote me. That I wasn't ready, that I would fail.
Those who have betrayed me must pay.
You're the first black agent. Don't be the last.
Revenge is all I have left.
The CIA cannot get involved, so you're on your own.
Aren't we all?
I'm a man who gets what he wants.
Just get me the money. You have 24 hours.
Yo, here we go. Intro for my show. Nice though, hot like nitro. Cool as ice though. With that type of dichotomy, y'all know it's gotta be. Who else could it be but T? Rub your eyes, behold the Tony D. I'm the Dream Supreme DJ straight out of Queens. I'm eclectic, the dope is selected. Emerging music break, Tony D will take. Yeah.
Well, Tony, I don't care, long as you take me there, someplace to ease my mind.
This is recording artist Bertrand McKinney, aka Birdie, and you're listening to CHH Jams, where the bars come from the word. Y'all keep it locked.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. This is Orlando Presents right here on CHH Jam Presents. Make sure y'all tune in every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and check out our new show, CHH Jam Presents, right here on the real Level Up. Let's go, y'all. Let's level up, level up. Let's get it. CHH Jam Presents.
Hello, everyone. This is Pat Nash of Pat Nash Talks, where we have the conversations that create real relationships. I'm here every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us right here on Level Up Nation. See you then.
And let's have a moment of clarity. There's freedom in your transparency. When you speak, you release, that's therapy. It's my decision to listen and do it carefully. Wanna live carefree? Well, it's gonna start. When secrets are kept, families are torn apart. I wanna do my part to help heal your heart. Shed some light on your life when your days are dark. Help ignite a spark that'll bring change. Be your shelter from the rain, assist with